Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Football Manager 2021 as we continue our Journeyman Glory Hunter series with RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga, or should I say, for now in the Bundesliga, because obviously we have 2 years ahead of schedule finished everything we need to do in Germany. It is time to move on. So today we're going to be looking at the season review, an amazing season at that, as well as checking out some new teams, and I will let you guys know as soon as we get a new team. Probably not going to mess with any transfers or anything like that until we get to our new team location. I would imagine somebody's going to pick us up. We're a very successful manager at this point, so hopefully we can find us a good team in one of the three remaining nations, which is either Italy, Spain, or England. And we are still the Spanish national manager at the moment, so that will continue on for a bit longer as well. Let's get into the episode. All right, here we are in game, and as you can see, we have done the treble. I know we talked a lot about the two that were the two big ones, which is the league and the cup games, but we also won the German Super Cup, or whatever they call it. Yeah, right there, German Super Cup, which I guess is the game against the league leader and the cup leader from the previous season, or something like that. So I'm not sure how that works for the next season because we did both. There's our German Super Cup trophy. There is our DFB Pokal Cup trophy. And of course, our Bundesliga trophy for the second time in a row. It is time to move on, guys. I love this team so much, though. I am going to miss this team a lot. If we find another team in the future that is better than this one, I will be beside myself because this has been a whole lot of fun playing with RB Leipzig. I am looking forward to what the future holds for us, though, as we continue on this amazing, amazing journey. All right, here are the new arrivals. Obviously, Alan. Huge get for 31.5 million euros. He was outstanding. Was he as good as Hasnut or Johnson? Not quite. Pretty close. And for the price, he was well worth the price. Absolutely well worth the price. 26 goals, 17 assists, 7.57 average rating on 38 overall, 41 total appearances. Had 3 substitute appearances, but not bad at all. Allowance, outstanding player as well. He comes in on 80 million. It says technically came from RB Leipzig too, which is just silly. Obviously he didn't. But 80 million coming in, pretty expensive, but picking up 18 assists himself. Really, really strong play from that. Well, listed as a center back, but we played him as a right back, obviously. 7.39 average rating. Petrus coming as a very strong center back. Very expensive as well for Manchester United. 7.16 average rating. Stankovich, not a bad player at all. We didn't play him a whole ton, mostly substitute appearances and stuff like that. He came in on loan, 11 goals and 5 assists. Not bad. Not bad at all. Then we got Kashev coming in with 12 assists. Also another very expensive player. Actually, technically our most expensive player for the season. Maybe not the best price per average rating value, but he played really well for us, and we couldn't have done what we did without him. We got an A for Allen. We got a B- for Alader. C+ for Petrus. C+ for Stankovich. C+ for Kashev. Mauricio, A+. He was outstanding. 7.01, quite a bit cheaper than Kashev, coming in from Man City and just played well for himself. Fabi came in as a substitute, so pretty decent rating, honestly. B+ on 11 starts and 4 subs. Not bad. Theodario didn't play a whole lot. Honestly, I wish we played him a little bit more, but he played a lot of subs and 10 games appearances starting. That's not too bad either. 6.74 rating, not the greatest, but fairly okay overall. I think he's got a pretty strong future ahead of him. And then we had Prado, who I guess went out on loan. Transfers out. Anybody just jumping at us that was bad? Tonga, they didn't like the Tonga one. That was a bit risky. I like Tonga a lot, and I mean he was on a 7.41 rating for Liverpool in the Premier League in England. That's impressive. He could have come in there. Maybe we would have won the Champions Cup with him. Who knows? We'll never know. But I think we got some good players to replace him. But it was good to see him go on and be successful as well. Fulpes coming in here. That was a C rating. B- for Adeyemi. I think that was a great move on for us because he was definitely not going to be the goal striker that Allen was. And we actually paid less for Allen than we paid for him. So I think that was well worth the money there. Virginius, they didn't like this one for some reason. I thought this was a decent move on, but because I don't think he was like the most outstanding player in the world. And we definitely weren't playing wingers, but you know, it is what it is. Tyler Adams, they didn't like that move on. He's been around the league for a while. It was sad to see him go, but we had to get some money for him to move on with some other people. Newbelt, I mean, I wouldn't mind if had him in there for a backup goalkeeper role. He would have definitely been a better backup than the one we had, but it is what it is. Nobody else here really matters too much more. Loan outs, I mean, Marcher, goodness gracious. That loan out, maybe that's what cost us the Champions League for all we know. He played outstanding for Marseille. Will definitely be good to have him back for the team next season. All right, season results. Obviously, as you guys know, we won the league. Only won it by 6 points in the end. Huge goal differential, and the biggest reason for a lot of that was because we didn't try in every single game necessarily. But overall, pretty good, pretty solid. The board was pretty happy with that in the end. 26 goals from Johnson as the competition top scorer. And there was the results. Obviously, a few results towards the end that were a bit more problematic. But again, rotated squad, who cares? European Champions Cup, made it pretty far. I mean, this massive win against Atletico Madrid, I thought we were a shoo-in to win this thing after we beat them that badly. But Marseille, oh, Marseille. Board was still happy, though. We went pretty far into it. They only expected us to get to the first knockout round, and we made it to the quarterfinals, so not bad there. Obviously, winning the German Cup, outstanding effort from that. 8-0, 4-0, 8-0, 6-0, 4-1, 4. I just realized, I did not realize until just this moment, we only gave up one goal in our entire cup run. Oh my. We put up 16, 20, 30, 34 goals for us, one goal against. That is insane. Absolutely insane. 14 goals from Johnson throughout all of that. And then, of course, the German Super Cup. We only beat VfB Stuttgart by one goal in that. But hey, it counts. And honestly, I didn't really care about this much, and the board didn't either. But it's still nice to win. Moments to remember. Biggest win was a 14-0 stomping of Dynamo Kiev. 5 goals from Stankovich, 5 goals from Johnson, 2 goals from Allen, 1 goal from Petrus, and a goal from Stiljakovic. Outstanding play all around. We were rubbing it in. I mean, I don't know if I was trying. It's not like I can say, all right, let's rotate the full squad of backups. We still had to have our some of our starters out there, but we did. It was outstanding. We had a 6-0 win here against Mainz with a penalty shot from Olmo, a pair of goals from Allen, and a hat trick from Eric. A hat trick from Eric. Let that sink in for a minute. Our center back had a hat trick. What? We then had a goal of the season coming in from, let's see, Soto actually got the goal of the season. Really? 39th minute. Let's go check this out. Of all the many goals that we scored in here, which one is it? There it is. I mean, we scored so many goals this season. To pick out one as the best is a crazy thing to come up with. Kashiev gets the ball over to Soto, and boom. There we go. Outstanding play from him. Just found the hole with the gap right down the middle there. Really, really good goal score from him, for sure. Was it the best? I don't know. It was pretty good, though. All right. Let's go check out the finances. Our sponsorship was basically the same as last season. It says it went down a little bit, but I think that, to me, it looks like the exact same number. Broadcast revenue, actually, that went down quite a bit. Wonder why. Oh, well. Corporate and hospitality went up a bit. Competition prize money went up quite a bit. And then match day commercial retail went up a smidge as well. Overall, club reputation seems to have not changed. No new sponsorships or anything like that. Shirt sales, 500,000 shirts sold. Johnson, Olmo, Hazelnut, Soto, and Allen. Of course, our 3 strikers, and then Soto and Olmo. No big surprises there whatsoever. Good stuff all around. How did we line up? Obviously, the 4-3-3. Soto actually had the lowest rating in this setup, but he still played well enough for us. I think I'm pretty happy with him. Could we have been better with Tonga in that spot? Perhaps. We'll never know. But obviously, these 3 guys up here were just absolute beast mode. With Boostlin on a 7.22 average rating over the course of the season from your goalkeeper. That's pretty good as well. All right. Accolades. Manager awards. I got nothing this season, it looks like. But here's our player awards. Fans player of the season was Hazelnut. Interesting. Young player of the season was Johnson. Okay, I see they got to split the difference there by putting him as the young player and giving Hazelnut the other one. Technically, I think Johnson was the player of the season, but he already got young player of the season, so why not split it up? Signing of the season, obviously Jordan Allen. There's our 3 strikers right there. Goal of the season, Soto, we already saw that. Top goal scorer, Johnson with 47 goals. So that's insane. Most assists, Hasnut with 22 assists. Absolutely insane as well. Most player of the match awards, Hasnut with 11. Average rating, 7.9 average rating for a season from Hasnut. I can't even imagine that ever happening again. Oh my goodness. And then record breakers, obviously 47 was the record breaker there. Most goals by a player in a match was Stankovich with 5, which is the same game that Johnson, wasn't it? Johnson got 5 in that game as well. Most assists by a player in the season, Hasnut with 22. Boostlin with the most clean sheets by a player in the season, 24 clean sheets over the course of the entire season for all games and appearances. Most league appearances by a player, Danny Olmo, 350 league appearances by him. Nice. And of course, youngest goal scorer was Thomas Richter, 17 years and 88 days. Competition awards, German Footballer of the Year was Hasnut. European Golden Shoe was Johnson. And the Under 21 Footballer of the Year was Allen. All 3 of our strikers getting something this season. That is really awesome to see. I love that. I love that a lot. It was a superb season for RB Leipzig as they claimed their 2nd successive title to back up their preseason credentials. Pretty hot. All right, well, there we go, guys. Let's zip through the rest of these real quick. Anything else here that we care about? Johnson breaking records, Hasnut breaking records, everybody breaking records, up, down, left, and right. Players inducted the RB Leipzig overall best 11 squad. Johnson was the pick of 2 players. The other was Boostlin. Oh, yeah, for sure. Boostlin coming in as a substitute goalkeeper. That's impressive, honestly. For any of these players to get into this is pretty awesome. It's interesting, though, that of all of these, looks like Eric as a center back. But yeah, everybody else is on the bench right now. And Hasnut's not on here. We got Boostlin. We got Johnson. No Hasnut. Wow. Okay. Best 11. We don't care about that. We don't care about the 2021 team. So XG was 75.8. Actual was 96. We definitely overachieved there. X points was 65. We got actually 77. Our points was supposed to be 2nd. We actually got 1st. And as you can see, we were quite impenetrable on the defense. And that's even with giving up a few games where obviously we let some through that we shouldn't have with our backup goalkeeper. And then, of course, aggressive clinical on the other side. Good stuff all around. Club visions. This is not going to matter to us. Obviously, just curious what they're looking for. Be the most reputable team in Germany. Grow the club's reputation. Win the Bundesliga. They want to continue winning the Bundesliga. Good for them. Reach quarterfinals in the Champions Cup this time. So that's a step up from last season, although it is where we met this last season. Last season, they only wanted us to go reach the knockout rounds, and they want us to go a step further, which is cool. That makes sense. And of course, our contract expires after this next season. We won't be here to see it anyway. That's part of the reason why I didn't renew my contract, because I wanted to make it easier for another team to pick us up. But I don't think a team's going to have any problem paying any sort of release fee for me at all. But we'll accept the current vision. I think that's acceptable. Squad dynamics looking pretty good. End of the season team meeting. I mean, we'll discuss it, but I think we should win it again next season. Absolutely. There's no reason not to. This team is insanely strong. And I'll say the latter stages for this. That's a sensible target. I think that's acceptable. And then we'll do promises when we get back, because I'm not going to do any promises because I won't be here anyway. All right, good team meeting, guys. Team report looking pretty good. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. I don't really care where they go, and I guess you guys can't see that anyway. We can go lots of places in Austria. We can go Italy, Switzerland, or Brazil. You know what? How about you guys go to Brazil just for fun? Somewhere different. All right. Well, I will come back when there's news to say on the job hunt front. So we'll be back in a bit. All right, we are back, and we have our first 3 job offers. 2 in Italy and 1 in Spain. As you can see here, we've got Roma, we've got Lazio, and we have Real San Sebastian. I was looking at the leagues here for these. Go check it out. Roma here. This will actually show us both. Go look at the team detail, and just kind of probably the best way I can gauge where they're at in relation to others, just using the salary per annum. So how much are they paying their players per year? It gives you an idea of how much money they've got available, things like that. And Roma is number 5 on this list at 138. Lazio is number 4 at 144. So that's probably my preference, to be honest. They're not too far behind, but they're definitely not very far behind Milan. They're a little bit further behind Inter and Zebra, but not too far. I think they're within range that this would be reasonable. If we were to look at, let's see here. If we go back and look at Spain, let's go this way. We'll go look at Real San Sebastian. Go look at the Spanish First Division and look at team detailed here. We see Real San Sebastian is down here. They're pretty far down. They're at 94. They are number 4, so they're within that top 5 range. They're a bit behind Atletico Madrid. I'd probably prefer to be at least Atletico Madrid or higher, but I think this would be reasonable enough. And so it's a little bit worse situation than the ones in Italy. Let's put it that way from just a purely salary standpoint. But I think they have a chance to do something. I mean, they've been within, they were 3rd a couple years ago, 4th. So they've been within the top 4, 3 or 4 for a while. So I think they have the ability to do something. To put this a little bit in perspective, can we see our stuff right now? I don't know if we can. Let's go to Bundesliga. I think because the league just started, I don't think it's going to show us. No, it's not going to show us. So can we look at finances and see how much we played? Expenditure over the last season, player wages 129, so 130. So both Lazio and Roma are higher than how much RB Leipzig have spent. So they're in a slightly better financial spot than this guy. And then Real San Sebastian is a little bit less, but not a lot less, honestly. They're within a range there. So I feel like any one of those would be okay. Probably would prefer the Italy ones, quite frankly. And I think Lazio would be my preference. But I'll probably interview both of these, just to get it done. And then we'll interview this one as a backup. Because if neither one of these other 2 Italy jobs offer something, it would be better for us to move on to something than to stay here at RB Leipzig for another year. Because there's nothing really to gain at RB Leipzig other than Champions Cup, which, sure, we want to do that. But I think these 2 would be, just moving on and trying to win some of the other cups would be a better move for us for right now. So let's go ahead and do these interviews real quick. We'll do the Roma interview first. Let's see here. Fairly adept at learning languages. I think I currently am fluent in 5 languages. Obviously English, Russian, French, German, and Spanish now, I think. Something like that. So we're making a move. We're working through the languages one by one. Never managed in this country. The fact that I have experience in various countries, I think, is a huge lift up for us. You have 1 relegation on your managerial record. Can you explain those circumstances? 1 relegation out of how many levels of success? And you want me to explain the 1 failure? Wow. Considering it's only happened once in my career, I don't think it's much of an issue. I think it's more of, it's happened once, I learned from that experience, and it won't ever happen again. I think that's pretty accurate. Can you tell me how you intend to handle the workload of managing both a club and a national team? I believe I'm capable of managing both teams to a high standard. I think that's fair. Why have you felt it acceptable to apply to a number of jobs while employed by another team throughout your career? I think I'll just say that I'm trying to advance my career. Can you explain why you appear to be in the running for a few jobs right now? I'm really considering my options. I am confident of achieving every job. I can work with their director of football. I don't wish to propose any changes. I'll just take whatever they give me. That's going to be fine. And then they want to develop players using the club's youth system. Fair. I can do that. Sign players under the age of 23. I can definitely do that. Make the most of set pieces. I can try to do that. Work within the wage budget. Minimum 4-year contract for new players, or first team players, I should say. Sign young players to develop for profit. Qualify for the Euro Cup. So they're not even the Euro Cup right now. Oof. They do wants to get into the Champions Cup, which I am 100% in agreement with. And they wants to challenge for the title in a couple years, which again, obviously that fits within my goals, although I would love to do it quicker. I think this all seems acceptable. I understand. Do you have any requests for us to consider should we hire? I have no requests at the moment. We'll just make it easy for them as possible. And again, the Lazio one is a little bit more of an important one for me. This is the one I want the most. I'm fairly adept at learning language. Probably a lot of the same questions, to be honest. The fact that I have various experience. Happened once, I've learned. I'm capable of managing both. I will not let anything get with my ambition. I'm merely considering my options. I'm more than happy to work with him. Do not wish to propose changes to the budget. Play counter-attacking football. Interesting. Develop players using the club's youth system. Obviously work within the wage budget. That's normal. Sign young players. They actually have a lot less overall things. They want us to qualify for the Euro Cup, Champions Cup. Become recognized as the best of the rest, whatever that means. As part of the, as best of the rest outside the Serie A's top 2. Oh, best of the rest. You got the top 2, Inter and Zebra, and then they want us to be the best of the next set. So they want us to be number 3. Interesting terminology. Obviously, we'd like to push higher than that. It's weird that Roma has a higher ambitions than Lazio here does, but I think Lazio is in a pretty decent position overall. Honestly, either one of them would probably be fine. I think we could do. They're so close within the salary range that I think either one of them would be fine. Probably whichever one offers me just a better overall deal, better transfers and stuff like that. And we'll do the San Sebastian here. Probably a lot of the exact same questions. Yes, happened once. Capable of doing whatever. Not letting things stand in my way. Considering my options. Confident, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Don't wish to make any proposals. Sign players under the age of 23. Work within the wage budget. Minimum 4-year contract. Minimum 1-year contracts for 8 players over age of 32. They got a lot of other requirements here. They want us to qualify for the Euro 2s and then also become recognized as the best of the rest, which in their case is outside the top 3. They want us to be number 4, the best of that spot. So interesting, kind of just, I don't know. It's just interesting to see that. I don't know if I've ever seen the best of the rest terminology used before. All right. Well, there's our 3 interviews. We'll come back if we get a job offer. All right. We're back and we do have a job offer. That's about a week later or so. This is actually the beginning of tomorrow is the beginning of the transfer, window for the German league. So I actually don't know when the transfer league, is for Spain or France or Italy, I should say. But just to put it in context, we are currently at a wage budget of 3.6 million euros per week with Germany. I think last season was around this 3.1 mark, or roundabouts there. So keep that in perspective. About 3.1 to 3.6 is the range that we've been with RB Leipzig, and actually 3.6 is the highest we've ever been. So if we go look at our job offer, and we're at 157 mil transfer budget. But look at our job offer. It is from Lazio, the one I wanted the most, and they're going to put a wage budget of 3.4 mil. So it actually splits the difference there. It's actually right in the middle of where the RB Leipzig has been, higher than we've been in the last couple seasons, a little bit lower than we are this current season, because obviously they're in the Champions Cup, things like that. So the wage budget is in a good spot. The negative is the transfer budget. That is going to be hard to work with. Only 37 million euro transfer budget is going to be absolutely tough. I actually want to check real quick before we accept this, because we probably are going to keep accept this, because we got to move on to somewhere. We've got to start working on some of these other challenges. Before I look at this, I want to check what are the rules. When does y'all's transfer window start? Y'all's transfer window starts probably right in front of my face, and I'm not seeing it. Transfer window, there we go. July 1st. So theirs starts tomorrow as well. So we are well within their transfer window, just like it's the same transfer window. I assumed it would be probably around about the same. It's interesting. So let's see here. First place for them gets 26.9 million euros. What does Germany give right now? Go here. Let's go, whatever. Probably easier ways to do this. Go look at the rules. Wow. Germany gives so much more money for winning stuff. That's probably why they have much bigger transfers and stuff like that. It is going to be hard to get players into Italy, I think. They just don't have the same type of money to throw around. What if we looked at, let's go look at Premier, English Premier Division. I think I spelled that wrong. What are y'all sitting around? I mean, they're actually not that much more than Italy. Still well below Germany as far as just prize money for winning stuff. Now, they might get more money from other things, you know. Maybe they have better sponsors, or maybe they have better TV revenue, stuff like that. Who knows? Let's see what else we can look at. Spanish. first division. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, I thought just a little bit of a delay. What do y'all got going on for you? They actually don't get any money. What? Is that true? No money coming in? Interesting. It's just interesting to see these different things, right? We'll look at League 1 Uber Eats. I love that they've won it again 2 years after we left. They are way little less money. I mean, they're less money than Italy. So really, Germany's just kind of obscure out there on its own, kind of just giving out bukus of money and stuff. It's kind of interesting to see. All right, but anyway, like I said, we've got to move on. We've got to accept this, right? Just out of curiosity, because I'm, whatever. 55K per week. What is our current contract? We're taking a little bit of an increase, so that's cool to see. There's nothing here that I will want to change anyway, so we'll start negotiations. I mean, I'm going to bump them up because I'm a businessman. I got an extra 1,000 out of them. There you go. Looks good. All right, guys. There we go. Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum, bum. Lazio. I think this is going to be kind of tough, to be honest, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's different thing to look at. It's interesting that they just up and paid RB Leipzig 3.5 million euros just to get me. I'm valuable, guys. I'm worth 3.5 million euros. That's awesome. Their reputation is 4.5 star, which I think is the same as RB Leipzig, right? I think it's right about the same. Media prediction is 4th. Okay, that's fair. Like I said, first season, we get what we get, right? No big deal. But we definitely want to start working towards the higher stuff as soon as possible. Italian Super Cup. Serie B. Oh, wow. They were in Serie B several years back. Italian Cup. I actually won the Italian Cup, 6 years ago? 5 years ago? Something like that, as far as the game's concerned. And anything else they've won? They've won the Euro Cup a few years ago. That's not too bad. And then Serie A, they won probably about 10 years ago, it looks like. Interesting. Huge capacity on their stadium. Actually, I think the RB Leipzig, they just did a stadium exhibition. I think it was 57,000 maybe. I don't remember exactly. Superb training facilities, superb youth facilities, excellent youth recruitment. All this looks pretty good. Last season, they were 8th in the Serie A. I think that's how you say that. Italian Cup, they come in at the first round. Champions Cup, they're going to come in. Oh, they are in the Champions Cup. Are they really? Okay. Well, good for them. Wow. Is this what they've been running? Or is this just because what I've been running? I think this is what they've been running, isn't it? I actually don't know. It might be based off my formations. I've never actually noticed. I've never actually paid attention to the formation that shows up here and whether it ties into the formation I've just been using recently or not. But it would be interesting if they're actually already using the formation that I was planning on, or I was kind of hoping I could use. Transfer obligations. Okay, I don't care about a lot of this stuff until we get in there. Loan obligations, don't care about those right now. With the transfer window opening up tomorrow, hopefully a lot of that will change anyway. All of this looks fine. We just want to keep working on. So they're in the Champions Cup. They want to reach the first knockout round. Cool. That's fair. Okay, it's cool. This looks good. And yeah, all that looks fine. Broyar takes charge at Lazio. Let me guess. Eyebrows have been raised. Oh, no eyebrows. Questions will be raised. Oh, questions this time. No eyebrows, just questions. In a move which is sure to spark plenty of heated debate. I mean, I'm sure RB Leipzig is very sad to see me go, but I have ambitions, guys. I'm sorry. I would love to have stayed, but I've got ambitions. I have a career win percentage of 56%. That's pretty good, I would say, with only a loss percentage of 21%. The rest of the time, obviously, drawing. 3 cups, 4 leagues. All in all, not bad. Non-EU player transfer allowance for this season. We're only allowed to register the first. Really? We're only allowed to register the first non-EU player we sign. Any further signings will not be allowed to take part in official matches until the following campaign at the earliest. The new non-EU players signed will only be eligible for non-EU slot only. He's played at least 5 matches for his national team in his career. Interesting. Season expectations: reach first knockout, qualify for Euros, reach semi, final cup, or reach final. I mean, that's not much of a transfer budget increase or a wage budget increase, so we'll just go with the slower expectations here. And that would be fine. Man, it's such a small transfer. Oh, that look at that. They're going to get 82 mil for TV rights. That's not bad. Players currently unhappy. Riccardi here. There's our social feed. We'll grab that. Fantastic choice. I'll go through all the captains and stuff like that and the takers and stuff like that later. So let's go check out our team. Look at the squad depth. We'll just look at overall first. So we do have 3 great strikers. So the 4-3-3 does look possible. I wasn't necessarily planning. I mean, I'm not just going to stick with the same formation all the time, but you know, as a manager, you're going to have a formation that you like and that you stick, you know, you feel comfortable with. And if that's a formation that can work here, especially with their 3 great strikers, maybe. They only got 1 great midfielder and a bunch of good ones. That's not terrible. We can work with that. And only 1 great center back, 1 great guy on the right, and then a bunch of good ones across the rest of the way. Only a good goalkeepers. Wouldn't mind improving the goalkeeping spot at some point as well. So probably get some better midfielders, possibly a guy on the left, and maybe a goalkeeper. And I think we'd have a pretty decent team here. So if we go back and look at current ability, actually, let's go check the stats to see who's our best rater here. Mental judging player ability. And that was Ekman. Freddie Ekman on an 18. All right, squad depth. Good old Freddie Ekman, where are you at? There he is. Okay, cool. So 4-4-2. Let's go look at the 4-3-3 narrow, because I wouldn't mind using this again. So they've got Daka, they've got Places, and they've got Motonado. Sorry, I can't say it. Matondo. I can't say it if I parse it correctly. Pretty good, honestly, pretty good strikers. I could see room for one of our RB Leipzig strikers just to sneak in here somewhere. That would be all of our money, though. Midfielders, got Elena, Milinkovic, Savic, Pippi, Traore. Don't I recognize that name from somewhere? That's not. Maybe I've looked at him to recruit at one point, but I don't remember. Honestly, their central defenders are not as good as I thought they were going to said they were going to be. Ostergaard actually looks like he'd be a decent right back, but not the most amazing crossing ability. Definitely looks like their defense could use some help, especially even their goalkeeper as well. I mean, the rest of this is workable. 3 stars, not bad. Strikers look good. Just some of the defensive stuff probably could use some help, some love. But like, how do we make that happen? So if we go look at our squad here, and let's go look at contracts. Who is our most valuable player? Places makes sense. Ilana, attacking midfielder and a midfielder, might be somebody we could move on, because we're not planning on playing attacking midfielder if we go with the 4-3-3. Sure, he's a good midfielder, but could we move him on for 54 mil and get a better midfielder in that spot? Maybe. Tondo. Okay, this guy is definitely somebody we can move on. He's a okay striker, okay attacking midfielder, but he's better on the wings, and we are definitely not using the wings. So we're actually going to go right away, immediately come in here and transfer list him. I need you to accept the transfer listing. I want to make sure you're not left out of the loop. Dude, stop being angry. Yeah, it was more of a courtesy, quite frankly. I'm the new manager. You've got to expect changes are going to happen. We'll transfer list him for... transfer list him for about 50. And then we're going to immediately offer him to clubs. Immediately offer him to clubs, because we definitely want to move him on if at all possible. All right, so there's Matondo. Macchioni comes in. Okay, he's one of our decent defensive guys. Weird that it says 3.5 stars up here, but he's only actually at a roll duty of 2.5 stars. Like that's so weird. But we'll probably need to keep him. Jeremy, he's another wingback. Can play striker. Not the most amazing striker that we have, though. So I think another guy that could potentially move on. A lot of these guys are going to be so unhappy with me moving these guys on, but it is what it is. I'm not going to be using you. It's just a courtesy. Sorry, buddy. I mean, we're going to make people unhappy. But that's what happens when you're a new manager jumping into somewhere, especially if you're a new manager with the, it's going to sound pompous and arrogant. With the pedigree that I have at the moment, where I've won, 3 league wins in a row, right? I've won France, then I moved on to Germany, and won with RB Leipzig, obviously twice, and then I've obviously won the cup. I've gone pretty far in the Champions Cup, quarterfinals, not bad. So I feel like I have the pedigree to do stuff like this. To say, you know what? Look, here's the deal. Wrong guy, Jeremy. Here's the deal. We've got a plan. We have a goal, and you guys are just gonna have to, unfortunately, get in line with the goal. All right. I'll go through the rest of these. I know you guys don't have to be for all of this. Here's basically the pattern. I'm going to go through these, find the guys that are playing positions that we're probably not going to use this year. I'm probably going to do the 4-3-3. I think that's going to be fine. We'll move on some guys that we can, try to get a little bit more money coming in, and then go out and try to get a couple good players to fit the roles that we have. Maybe somebody from RB Leipzig. We'll see. I do tend to like to go back to my last club and see if I can pick somebody up. We'll find out. Might even go back to Marseille and see if we can find somebody there. But that's the plan. I'll come back when there's more transfer news to talk about. And this episode might be a little bit long. Obviously, we had to get the job first. But bear with me, and I'll show you guys what the transfers are before the beginning of the season. All right, we are still a couple weeks away from the start of the season itself, and quite a distance away from the end of the transfer window. So we still got time to do some more transfers, but I figured I'd go ahead and jump in here and show you a bit of the ones that I've done already. I've been a little busy, maybe. I mean, I've done a few. I tried to offload some of the players that I just know I'm not going to use, guys that were like wingers or defensive midfielders, things like that I'm probably just not going to be playing those positions anyway. And so you're going to see a couple of those guys on the right-hand side over here jumping in. Ricardo was a guy that was just a little bit older. We weren't probably going to be using him much other than a substitute. And I actually don't remember if this one might have been already agreed to before I joined, so I actually don't remember doing that one. Matondo here, though, was somebody that I put up for offer. And I mean, he could play striker. He could play, which is probably the only position we are currently using that he would be good at. But he would have been like 4th or 5th string striker. So I decided to go ahead and sell him on, get a decent chunk of money for him. We were able to get 50 mil for him, which feels like a pretty decent amount. He's probably a great player, to be honest, but we just weren't going to use him enough to justify not selling him for 50 million euros. Plus, that gives us more money to put into our coffers because we really started with very little money on the transfer side of things, as you guys know. I won't look at this guy here. He's too cheap. Gundo's here. Just a guy that was just kind of surplus. Just trying to get something for him. Moscow was another guy, though. That, again, another winger. We weren't going to be using wingers this year, I don't think. I'm going to be trying to do the 4-3-3. I feel like I've got some players that can play that. So we're going to be trying that out. So we were able to sell him off for 20.5. Pacina doesn't really matter that much. Moroni doesn't matter much. And then Jeremy. Jeremy's probably the one I probably sold for the lower price than I would have liked. Again, he could have played a striker, but the rest of the positions he just, we weren't going to be using. So we were able to get a little bit of money for him. Plus, he's a little bit older, so getting something for him felt like a decent offer. That one actually just went through, so I still have some of that money in my budget. Actually, I've got 23 million euros at the moment, so I still got some money to do something with, but not a lot. And I'm not exactly sure what to get. Plus, we still need to do some more scouting. Like, our scouts are just now starting to kind of stretch out and find some of the players that I would like to go after. But it's been a little bit of a challenge. Here's the challenge. Here is the number one challenge for playing Lazio, and I guess any of the Italian clubs, is that they're only allowed to bring in one non-EU player a year. And before I had even started doing my transfers, they had already brought in a non-EU player, like already done. So I have no other EU players that I can't do that again. I can't go get and love you or one of the other strikers goalkeepers from one of the clubs we've been at before. I can't go get one of the strikers because Hasnut was off the table. Johnson was off the table. RB Leipzig would have let us have Allen, but he's from Scotland, non-EU player. We couldn't do that. Like, I wish I could have controlled that non-EU player that we bought, because I would have definitely brought in either one of the goalkeepers that we've used before that is non-EU, or brought in Allen as a solid striker. But anyway, it is what it is. Let's see here. This isn't the guy that yeah. I wonder if this is the guy that filled that quota, because this Butcher guy I did not bring in. Did not bring him in. If this is the non-EU player that they brought in, That is going to be frustrating that this happened at all. Maybe I could have canceled it. I just didn't see it. I didn't realize it was coming through until it was too late. So it's possible this is the guy because he is from England. Why? Why would you bring him in? Like, that's ridiculous. Then they brought in Manka. This is another guy I didn't do this guy. He's at least from Italy, so he doesn't go against that quota. Napolitano. I brought this guy in. He's not an amazing player. He shows he's 3.5 star current, 3.5 star potential, but he's only 2.5 star role and duty, which I'm not sure if I fully understand that. If we go look at coach reports, he is our second best central defender. So I felt like it was a little bit, decent guy to bring in to bring us a little bit of strength, hopefully in that area. I mean, he's been on a 7.04, 6.99, 7.01 for Torino last few seasons. Sevens and above for 4 seasons in a row, basically. We'll count that basically right at 7. So, I mean, I think he can play in this league. 20 mil seems like a halfway decent offer for him. He's valued at 30.5. So there you go. We brought another guy. No, some more depth, possibly a starter. We'll see. Hernandez comes in, basically the same price almost. He technically can play as attacking midfielder on the right, but we're going to bring him in here as a midfielder. Current ability 3, pitch ability 3. I don't know why it says 2. This is really confusing me. But he comes in off a 7.06 at Reims and a 7.15 at LOSC last season, which, I mean, that's French League One, so we know that's going to be a pretty decent guy to bring in here. They actually made a pretty decent profit. They bought him for 3.8 mil, and I paid 20 mil for him. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how he does. He's valued at 16.75, so I maybe overpaid for him a little bit, but I think he's going to give us some good depth. Plus, I mean, he's going to bring us an amazing mustache, so you got to go with that. I don't think this would have counted as the one because I think we had already had the non-EU player before I even started recruiting some of these guys. If this was the guy that broke that, then that was a huge mistake and I didn't see it. We then bring in Cisse here. He's just another guy for some depth. 2.5 star current ability, but he could develop. It is what it is. Just a guy to bring a little bit of depth. Didn't cost us a lot of money. He's valued at 4.8. We paid up to 6.5. Seems like okay. Here's the big one. This is my replacement because I couldn't get Hasnut, Johnson, or Allen. Splinter comes in here as a wonder kid that can play as a striker. Current ability 4 star, potential ability as high as 5 star. Again, I'm not sure if I'm understanding these role duty ratings, but we're going to continue to ignore those for now. But he's going to come in as a strong striker option for me, I believe. And he's fairly determined. Seemed like a decent guy to bring in. He's Dutch, so he is EU. 7.14 2 seasons ago, 6.98 last season. I mean, obviously nowhere near the number of goals as a Holland player that we were getting from Johnson and Hasnut, but we'll see what this guy can do and see if he can play well for us. He's actually got a bunch of under 21 caps, some under 21 goals. Maybe if we start featuring him, maybe he'll work his way into the... Probably unlikely. With Johnson and Hasnut, I doubt he ever moves his way up into the Dutch squad, but who knows? Maybe he will. But he's the big one we bought so far. But again, we still have a decent amount of money, 23.5 mil. We could do some stuff with that, try and bring in somebody else. But the problem is I just don't know who to bring in. Here is our squad depth right now. Yes, the odds are coming in heavy. I'm trying to wrap this up before I went to bed because I'd forget all of this before I went to bed. So bear with the yawns. Apologies. It is a little bit later than I normally record. So here's our strikers up here: Daka, Places, and Splinter. Some very interesting names here. I think that's a pretty good strength in striker and a couple guys that can possibly pull in there as backups. It's interesting that when our fourth string striker is also our top string central defender and right back. So he's a very, very flexible guy. Midfield, I mean, we got a 3.5 star in Elena, a few 3 stars. Decent, In fact, let's move over to Ekman because he does a little bit better of job of rating people. But a bunch of 3 stars, so I feel like we have some decent depth in midfield. I would like to get another 3.5, 4 star player, another strong player in midfield. That would be nice. I just couldn't find anybody yet. Our scouts just haven't reached out enough to find anybody yet. Same thing for our defense. Would love to get us another good, strong 4 star somewhere in the defense or on the left back, something like that. Ostergaard could probably hold down the fort on the right, but honestly, he may just play center and we may play somebody else on the right. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work out, but I wouldn't mind finding some more depth somewhere back here, some more strength maybe. And then goalkeeper. Goalkeeper's the one I'm most disappointed in so far. I have not been able to find a good goalkeeper. All the goalkeepers are either from Brazil, Argentina, England, Scotland, wherever, and we cannot bring any of those guys in because of that EU restriction. Very frustrating restriction. I'm going to be perfectly honest. So, is what it is. And that is our team so far. We got a couple other guys that might potentially be heading out because they're in positions that we're not planning on playing. Here's Atangana. Again, we're not going to be playing any of those positions. And Unavar, we're not planning on playing those positions. He could technically hold down midfield or striker, but I'd rather sell him on and get somebody who's better in those positions if at all possible. So we still have some more transfers probably going to happen, especially if I can sell on a couple of these guys. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to see what we can do and keep working on it. It's not been easy. It's been kind of a struggle. I'm fairly happy with the depth that we have. I think we're going to be good enough to make a showing, but just not having those restrictions on bringing in non-EU players. I've been in teams that have had restrictions like that before. I've been in ones that have said you couldn't bring in more than 3 or 4 or whatever. 3 or 4 is a huge difference from 1. 1 is just highly restricted. Now, we can play more than 1 non-EU player. We can only recruit 1 at a time. I don't know how that works with the loans, to be honest. In fact, let's go just take a quick look here. If we go look at the scouting, let me just zip through these real quick. There's a goalkeeper. Might be decent from El Salvador, but couldn't bring him in. Here's a center back. Actually, he's not a bad center back. Would be potentially, let's see here. He'd probably be down as 3rd string center back, but not bad. We'll keep scouting him. We'll keep scouting this guy. But if we go look at players that are scouted, let's just go look at the best player that we could find. Angelo here. Oh, I say best player. Best player my scouts say. He's a scout. He's a goalkeeper from Brazil, right? So if we go back and let's see if we offer him, make an offer. See, right now it says we cannot bring him in because he's a non-EU player. What if we did a loan? No, so it's the same deal. We cannot bring him because of a non-EU player. Who was our non-EU player that we brought in? I wish it would tell us. It's got to be a place to find that, right? I don't know. I don't know where we would find that. It's frustrating a little bit, to be honest. Go look at the squad. Maybe sometimes you can see stuff like that in registration, but I doubt it would show up here, right? I mean, here's some non-EU players, but he was already here. Are any of these guys new that we brought in? I don't see any. Like, there's 4 players here that are non-EU, right? That guy. Moreira, whatever his name is, and Vieira. And none of those guys came in this season, as far as I know. I'm so confused. I have no idea where this non-EU player came from that we're being held against. Because I see 4 here. And none of these are the ones that we brought in. Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And is it counting something from last season? I mean, there's the Moreri guy. Is it counting him because he came in? Technically, he came in January 2nd. Is it year as in 2031? I just assumed it would be year as far as the season. So when the season rolled over, it would be different. But I must be counting him or something like this. So maybe in the January transfer window, we can bring somebody new in. I don't know. We'll find out. It's a little confusing, but I'm working through it. And I think I'm pretty happy with the Splinter bring in, and these other 2 guys I think will be okay as well. And we'll see how we go from there. But we'll go ahead and I'll put a pause in there. We'll come back when there's more, right before the end of the start of the season. We'll see what else I might have been able to pull off and go from there. And hopefully I'm more rested for that, so there's less yawns. But anyway, we'll be back in a little bit. All right, today is the day of our first matches. So we're going to show those obviously in the next episode, but I wanted to wrap up what little bit of transfer stuff has been going on. As you may or may not be able to tell, I think this is my 3rd shirt of this transfer special. Maybe it's my 4th. I don't know. This has been going on for a couple of days now. So kind of been lingering different things. And so if I repeat something I've already told you, I apologize. I've already done some of this, like I said, in previous days. But I think the last one you guys saw was Splinter here. So I have picked up this guy named Jean-Jacques Legal. Didn't pay a ton of money for him, although it could rise up quite a bit. It's possible I overpaid for him, but I really just wanted to get a better goalkeeper. He was actually rated at Oh no, because yeah, he's rated at 3 stars up here. I still don't understand why Roland Duty is so far off from what it's rating his ability at. But one of the reasons I picked him up is because he's listed as a commanding goalkeeper, and I felt like a good trait to have, to be commanding in that goalkeeping role. Maybe not the most amazing goalkeeper. He's valued at 25 mil. We're probably going to pay up as much as 35 mil for him. So is it possible we're overpaying for him? Maybe. He's been on around a 7.0 for the last couple seasons with Club Rouge in Belgium. So not the worst, ball in the world. So I mean that's decent level. And so I'm hoping he can come in here and be okay for us. I just needed to get a better goalkeeper, quite frankly. I just needed somebody better. I couldn't find anybody better that was not from a non-EU country. And so this is probably one of the best ones I could find that was from an EU country that we could bring in. I don't remember if I've showed you these guys or not, but we have sold off Mohamed Darimi here. He could play a striker, but he was also playing a left wing midfielder. We weren't going to feature that role, so I wanted to get something for him. He's valued at 16.75 mil. We got 16 mil for him. Seemed about right. We also sold off Univar, another guy who could either play attacking midfield center or on the left. Again, 2 positions we were not planning on playing. He's valued at 32 mil, and we only sold him for, I think, up to 20 mil. So we did sell him for a little bit less than I would have liked, but 15.5 to 20 mil today, that will help me get another player today. I felt like that was a better move for us overall. Vieira comes is in here. He gets sold. He was just a backup goalkeeper that once we got that other goalkeeper, we did not need him anymore. He's valued at 7.75 mil. We actually got 11 mil for him. So that kind of makes up for a little bit of the Univar discrepancy. And then this guy, Sutalo, here is a central defender, right defender. I mean, he could have played. He could have featured. He probably would have been a good substitute for us. But, 31 years old. It felt like a decent time to get him moved on. He's valued at 12 mil. We only got, I think, like up to 5 mil for him. But, I mean, he could have just easily retired at the end of the season. We would have gotten nothing for him. Obviously, once they get past 30, 31 years old, they could probably retire at any point in time. So selling him on felt like an okay move to give us a little bit more money to play with. We got 30 mil in the bank right now to play around with. I do have 2 transfers potentially coming in. I'll go ahead and show you those. I got this guy, Kligen? Can't say his name. We'll have to trim back his name and figure out a way to say that. Mr. Rodney here. He comes in as a central defender or a guy on the right. This is only showing him as 2 stars. I can tell you right now, the report I saw, I was gonna say I had him at 3 star, potentially as high as a 3.5 star. So I definitely has him as our second best central defender. And so I felt like that was a decent guy to pick up, especially since he very likely would be featuring in our club. 15 million up front, up to 20 mil for a guy that's valued at 16.75 mil. Felt like a pretty good deal. He's been on over a 7.0 for the last several seasons in Holland. We like the Holland guys, as you guys remember, with Hasnut and Johnson. So hopefully he comes in and does pretty good stuff for us. He featured in their no, he's only been in their under 21 club, but seems like a decent player overall. Then we've got this guy, Jukic, Stefan here. He comes in as a 3.5 star current ability, 3.5 star potential, possibly maybe as high as 4 star. So he's actually technically listed better than Splinter, which is insane. And we paid how much for Splinter? We paid 68 mil for Splinter, going up to 100 mil, right? Insane numbers for Splinter. And we're going to get this guy for 4.5 mil going to 10 mil. I mean, I don't know. It felt like even if he turned out to be a complete flop, we're only paying like 5 mil for him. Let's go for it. Let's see what he can do. If nothing else, he becomes a good solid backup for our other guys. But honestly, we might even be able to move on one of our other strikers without hurting ourselves too much for a much higher value to bring in some more guys on the midfield and things of that nature. I'm not super happy. Like, we still haven't quite got another good midfielder. And again, I would still like a really strong central defender. But, I mean, the squad's looking okay. But I would say maybe not necessarily amazing that I would like to see it. But it's only the first season in here. We've got more seasons to continue to grow the squad as time goes by. If we go look at season preview, we're listed projected to become 4th, which sounds about right. That's about where we're at on the money side of things. Do we have any players in this starting squad? It does not look like we have anybody here in the starting squads. We got Splinter over on the right here, though, as a key player, Places as a key player. So 2 of our strikers are listed as key players. And one other thing you guys might have noticed as I was flipping through stuff, I tried to get Allen in, and I got them to agree to bring him in on a loan with a future fee to buy him next year. That I felt like was well within reason, and they agreed with it. He disagreed. I might try again just to see if I can get him to agree, especially if let's say if I declare interest somehow. Is there a way to do that? Yeah, declare interest. We'll just say as top target. I don't know if that covers everything, but we'll just say we're declaring interest in him. Maybe if we declare interest in him, maybe he'll know that we are in fact interested and he'll actually come along. We'll see. But I'm going to try and play around with that a little bit. But we got the transfer window ending here in about a week. And we've got money to burn. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to spend it. If I don't, that's fine. We'll wait till the January transfer window. We'll spend it then. But I just want to get a couple more good key players in a couple spots. If we get Allen, we might sell on one of our other goalkeepers for more money that we can then spin that around to maybe get us a solid midfielder or something of that nature. But I'll see what I can do. But today's episode is about to come up, so we won't have anything done before the episode because I'm literally, as soon as I hit the button, we're into the next the first games. First games are going to be Perugia and Parma here. So we'll see how we kick things off. We played pretty good through the friendlies, scoring a lot of goals against some of these Beijing teams. Even Inter and Zebra, though, we put up some goals, although we did allow quite a few. Milan, we lost that game, although I don't know if we were playing necessarily our starters, because part of the reason you play friendlies is to get all your team developed and fit. So I don't know if I would judge any of these, honestly, too much, because they could have been doing the same thing against us. But, you know, it's still good to see us scoring goals, so I like that a lot. And ignore this under-20s draw, by the way. I had just set all the players to go be able to play on it for the under-20s team. And so all of our starters played for, like half our starters played for the under-20s team, half our starters played for the starting squad. And so we were just basically, yeah, the 2-2 just makes sense because you're playing good guys on both sides of the ball there. But yeah, I think that's it for the transfer special. Hopefully you guys are as excited about playing here with Lazio as I am here in the Italian Serie A. I think, again, that's how you say that. And we'll see what we can do. We've got a little bit extra time because we did finish Germany quicker, although we still have to go back and finish the French Cup at some point. So, you know, maybe those cross each other out to some degree. But we have at least 4 years, you know, projected. You know, that's our planned amount of time in Italy is 4 years. And so I think we can do a lot in 4 years. We'll see what we can do in this first year. If we can knock anything off the list this first year, that'd be awesome. If not, we can at least set ourselves up to get some more players next year and be in a better position overall. But that's where we're at. I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you, and goodbye.